Hello everyone, Amod here from the Target Common YouTube channel, and in this video we are going to learn to set up the WireMock server locally and mock some dummy API responses. We already know from our previous videos that we need a mock server which can help us to mock the API responses. So first thing, we need to set up the mock server. If you're going to use the WireMock tool, then you need to come to this wiremock.org website, and this wiremock provides two versions: open source and cloud. Cloud is paid one, but whatever you use, you need to have the basic idea of wiremock, which I am going to cover in this playlist. You need to come all the way down, and here we have one section download. So we have different ways to download the wiremock and use it, but as of now I am going to click on this standalone server, and I'm going to download the jar file, which is standalone server of WireMock. So the jar file stands for Java Archive, which is a file format used to package Java classes and resources into a single compressed file. And the major part of a jar file is that those files are executable. That means we can run those jar files using the Java runtime environment. So if you want to run the WireMock server, make sure that you have the Java installed on your machine, at least JRE. That's why down below, we can see one command which is used to run the WireMock server. But before that, I need to download the WireMock server. So we need to click on this link, and you can see download has started. It is completed as well. So in the previous video, I have already explained that why we need a mock server. Let's understand with a real-time example now. So here we have some dummy APIs. We have like get booking IDs, get booking, create booking, and multiple APIs we have. And if you see the first part of any endpoint, which is called base URI, and this is called base path. And if you see for all these APIs, we have the similar endpoint. So this is actually real server. When we hit this API, it is going to hit that real server and will return the response. But if I want to mock the response of this API, for whatever reason, we need to make sure that whenever we are hitting the API, that is not going to the real API or real server, but it is going to the mock server. Then only we can mock the response. So how to get the server? In fact, mock server. So for that, I have already downloaded the standalone jar file. Now we need to run that jar file to create a mock server. So let's go to the folder where I have copied the jar file and open the command prompt here. So to run the jar file, I need to use command java -jar and give the file name and hit enter. So here you can see server has been started and it is running on port 8080. You can change the port number by providing the argument. But by default, if you don't pass, it will be started at 8080. And if I open the local host with the port 8080, let's see what it open. So we see something forbidden, but that's fine. When we run the request, then you can see some entries here. But this is the way we start our WireMock server. And instead of the actual API server, I need to use this endpoint or this base URI or this mock server URL with this API base path. Means instead of this URI, I'm going to pass my localhost 8080. As of now, we are just diverting the API calls from actual server to the mock server. So we are done with the first part of the setup. Now the second major part comes configuration, because how your mock server will know what to respond. For example, here we know that if we hit this API, we are going to get the list of booking IDs. If you do create booking, then we need to pass all these details. Then it is going to return me a response with the booking ID. So these are the actual responses, and these will be returned only if it's the actual server, but here I am using the mock server. So how mock server will know what to return? And here it comes stub. So a stub is a configuration that defines how the server should respond to incoming HTTP request. And we have multiple conditions or filter condition in which we can decide the response. We will cover everything, but let's start with basic stuff first. So to create a stub, we have multiple options. We can use the JSON file, we can use some admin APIs, or we can use the programming languages like Java. So let's create a stub using a JSON file. So I'm going to use the Notepad++, and here I need to create the stub configuration. So we have some predefined keys which I need to use now. So let's start with the curly braces. So it is going to be a JSON object, and here the first key will be request. This request will hold a JSON object, but before I write any further keys, let me save this file as a JSON file so that I can have the proper formatting. So when I started the WireMock server, and if you go to the folder where I have kept my server file, you can see it has created two folders, underscore underscore files, and another we have mapping. So whatever stuff we are creating, that file we need to keep under mapping. So let me copy this path and go to Notepad++, save this file into mappings folder, and make sure that whatever name you can give here, but the extension should be JSON file. So let me put RESTful Booker and select save as type as JSON. Click on save. So in the request JSON object, we have some keys to define the values. First thing we need to say which HTTP method. So I have the key called method, and let me put get or whatever it is you need to put it. Make sure that string value should be in double quotes. Second thing, URL. So here you need to provide the base path, not the base URI. I'm going to use this much only into my stub. So here I have created the basic request configuration. I'm saying that method will be get and URI will be this much. Now, if this is the case, I want response as per below configuration. So I'm going to return the status as 200, comma, content type as application slash JSON. So use headers. Why headers? Because I can return multiple headers. So this headers key will have a JSON object, and here you can define number of headers you want to return. So I'm just going to return content type. So use content type key and provide the value, maybe application slash JSON. And also I need to return the body as well. So use the body key, and here I need to pass the whatever response you want to return. So let me copy this value, which is a JSON response, and paste it here in double quote. Let me copy and format it online. Paste the value and click on this icon. So here if you see, it is giving me error. It is saying that syntax error, invalid character at line number 11. So what is happening? When I copied the JSON response and pasted in the body within the double quotes. So we have double quotes inside double quotes. So internal double quotes should be kept, which is not happening in the Notepad++, or if you use this online tool also, it will not skip it. I'm going to open this file into IntelliJ. So open with IntelliJ, and here I'm going to cut this part and paste it again. So you can see internal double quotes are escaped now, and let me put one closing braces as well. So these are now properly formatted JSON stub. So here I am giving instruction to WireMock server that if you're going to get any get method with the base path slash booking slash one, then return me 200 with the content type as application slash JSON, and this will be my response body. It is not going to hit the actual server, but we have mocked the API response. Now let's try it. But we started WireMock server before creating this JSON file. So we need to stop the WireMock server and restart it. This time that JSON file will be loaded. But make sure that that JSON file is in the mappings folder. Otherwise it will not read that. Now I will go to Postman and use this local host as the base URI, and let's use this as a base path. Let me click on send button. So you can see we got the response, and this is not coming from the actual server, but it is coming from the stub configuration whatever we have created. Now you might ask, how can I know that whether it is coming from WireMock or it is coming from the actual endpoint? So first thing, it will not be auto direct. You can see we are using the local host, so it is not going to the actual API server for sure. But if you want to make sure that instead of booking slash one, put the booking slash 2 and hit the send button. You can see something here. It says that the request was not matched, but it is returning some closure stub, which is saying that we have a get method and we have booking slash 1. Here get is matching, first part is matching, but number 2 is not matched. So it is not giving me the response because we have not configured anything for the booking 2. Then you might be thinking that I need to create the multiple JSON file for this, like for every booking IDs. So we have different ways, but let's understand now that okay, I need to create the multiple stuff. So for that, you don't need to create the multiple JSON files, but we can use JSON array. That means this is one JSON object. Let me copy and duplicate it. Use the comma, paste it here, and here instead of booking slash 1, I am going to use the booking slash 2, and let me change the first name as Hamud, and last name as Mahajan. Obviously, this is incorrect JSON as of now. So to fix this one, let me remove everything first and start with the JSON object. And here we have a key called mappings. This mappings key will hold a JSON array and bring back those content. So now in this mappings array, we have two JSON objects, or we can say we have two configuration now for booking/1 and booking/2. So let me restart the WireMock server again. So here you can see whatever we see in the Postman console, same thing printed in the WireMock server log as well. So use Control C and up arrow to start the server again. So you can see WireMock is up and running, and if I go to Postman and hit the API again, this time I am going to get the second response. So this is the way WireMock works. In the Postman, you can see it is returning the response as a JSON. What will happen if I remove this header? Let me save and restart the WireMock server again. Go to Postman, hit the API again. This time it is returning you the response as a text format because we have not provided the content type there. Let me do the Control G. So here we have some problem. Whatever response body we are mentioning, that we need to keep that in double quotes, and due to this escape sequence issue, it is not properly formatted. So to skip these issues, we can use another key instead of body. That means instead of body, use the JSON body. And here we don't need to pass the response body into double quotes. It will accept the JSON object or JSON array, whatever you have. That means let me copy this response and remove everything from here first. Don't use double quotes, simply paste it here. So this will be working perfectly fine. But if you're using the body, make sure that content is in double quotes. I need to escape the internal double quotes. Let me quickly stop and restart the server and hit the API again. We are going to get the proper response. Let's see two more important points. Suppose while creating the stub, I am using the same value here as well. So now we have two requests or two stubs where the request body is same, but the response is changing. That is fine. What will happen in this case? Let me save the JSON file and restart the server. It is not going to give any error while starting the WireMock server because of that same stub. If I go to my Postman and hit the API, so which response it is going to return, the first one or second one? Let me hit the send button and let's see what it is returning. Okay, so first thing, it is giving me that requests were not matched because we don't have booking/2 anymore. So let me change 2 to 1 and send now. So you can see it is returning the second response. So if the API call is matching with more than one stub, then it is going you to return the response from the latest stub. Now, suppose I make a mistake here. We are going to remove the double quotes from the get value. We are passing the incorrect JSON. Let me save and try to stop the server and restart it. So you can see it is giving me some exception. It says that error loading file listbooker.json because it is going to look into this particular folder mappings and will load all the stub configuration. Since the JSON file is incorrect, it is not able to start the WireMock server. So if you have any problem with your WireMock stub files, that is JSON, then WireMock server will not be initiated. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.